Hey guys, what's going on? This is Derrick Mitchell. What's up, Devan? Welcome to episode 23 of my 30-day Facebook Live challenge where I've been trying to go live every single day. And I don't know why I didn't think of this till like literally a couple days ago when I gave you a call, Devan, but I was like, hey, I should have guests on this live thing so we don't have to listen to myself for all 30 days. So that is exactly what I did. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is my good friend Devan Flaherty. He actually lives in the same city as me, kind of, same valley as me. But we're still doing this remote because, let's make it harder with technology and stuff.
Yeah, sounds about right. The truth is we're just busy.
We got lots going on. It's, actually, it's insane that we even found time to do this because both of the companies we work for have major launches and major events happening basically next week. And so it's been kind of nice. For me, it's been kind of cool to duck out and do this. I'm turning my live on real quick just to make sure we can hear me and you. And actually, it's insane that we cool. Awesome. There it is. I'm going to like it because that's how I roll. That way, if nobody else does, at least we get one like out of the deal. All right, guys. So, hey, let's get into it. So, Devan, for those of you who haven't joined that membership site that I have over at rapidworkflow.net, which is currently on pause. We'll bring it back. Long story short, I featured him a few months ago. We had an awesome podcast. It was about an hour long. So I'm going to launch that for those of you who haven't heard that interview yet. I'll put it on the YouTube channel. Got some really great tips from the man, the myth, the legend himself. Want to make sure we can bring that back. And so tonight, Devan, tonight's topic, we're going to keep it a little bit short, mostly because this is the first time I'm doing a live like this, and I want to make sure the technology works and that both the mics are on and we're not just talking to ourselves and then nobody can hear us. But also, like I said, we both have some big projects rolling out, so we got to get back to the real world. So with that topic in mind, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about finding happiness, keeping happiness in your career path, and kind of Devan, you want to. This was Devan's idea tonight, so I'm going to let him kind of take the wheel a little bit.
Sure, yeah, something I've kind of been passionate about recently because we get into the creative fields, and it could be design, development. I mean, maybe your niche is illustration, maybe you're an amazing, just like web designer, or you're just doing design pamphlets. It doesn't matter. But when we can be creatives, we can be doing design, development. And we could find that we really like what we do, but we hate the work, if that makes sense. Where, I mean, I love developing and I love designing, but there are certain aspects of working, for me at least, working with clients, that can just be a real headache, right? And not even so much just being a headache, but it really strips the joy out of what you're doing. Where something you're passionate about, something that you loved, and something that you just found invigorated you, all of a sudden becomes draining.
I think an example to make it a little more tangible would be let's say you love making websites for, say, a wakeboarding company, but you don't like making websites for a nursing home. Right, you like right. It's more so the theme behind it and the content you're creating for. Is that kind of what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, and I feel like when you're starting off, it's hard because let's say you're starting off doing this. That's just kind of like your world. You kind of take what you can get, right, and you're just building a portfolio. So it's kind of hard to say no, and you're just I need that from my client, I need that for my portfolio, right? I need to build this up. I need the experience, And for me, it's even kind of more broader than just the work you don't enjoy and the things that you don't find cool, right? For me, so I guess to tell my story is I was doing freelance and self-employed for this past 2 years, and just totally on my own, doing the whole self-employed thing, right? But I recently just took a job at a company called Moment Lens, and we make, lenses for your iPhone. You have this case, that you can attach the lenses to, and it's awesome. And I love working for this company. And I never really, in my mind, in the past 2 years, or even before that, before I went on that, imagined myself working for a company that sold iPhone lenses, or just worked on one product. Because I've always loved the flexibility of working for all these different clients, or at least I thought I loved that flexibility of having all these different things to work on. But recently, after taking the job, I found oh my gosh, I'm enjoying what I'm doing so much more. even though I don't have all these different clients coming at me and all these different opportunities of different types of work, I really enjoy the type of work and the brand that I am working on. And I can just make that one thing better and work with the team and just make the thing better and better and better. And so even though I'm doing the same work, I'm still developing, I'm still doing some design work, same thing, but different results by how it's being applied and what it's being applied to, right?
I found the exact same thing for me. In most, I don't know, maybe you don't know my story, but you know my story. But as far as anybody watching this live, same situation where I had, a handful of clients. And so at any one given time, I think where it was difficult, you might have 5 or 6 people who this is their most important project in their queue right now. But for you, it's one of 5 or 6 other people. And so rather than having one boss, you have 6 bosses and they all demand you to be like their number one priority, but you physically can't do that. So it causes a lot of stress. For me, it always felt like I was letting somebody down. By helping somebody, I'm letting somebody else down. Whereas when it's one product or company or service or, whatever, one client, in this case, one job, for me, I really enjoy laying into it and kind of giving it my entire attention and creative bandwidth to really see how far I can push something. Because so many times when it's a onesie-twosie kind of mom and pop shop client, their budget's so tight, you can have all kinds of ideas, but the budget and time is never there to fully flesh it out. So it just kind of feels, for lack of a better way to say it, like half-assed, like all the time. Like, here's what your budget could afford. Here's the time I had. Good luck. Thanks. And here's your invoice. I think is part of the reason why it was so soul draining for me when I was in that position.
Well, it's like, the idea of insanity is where you just do the same thing over and over again and expect to receive different results, right? And there's a part of when you're just like trudging and you're creating your business that you have to like just do that. It's just word of mouth. Like I watched that live video of you and your wife and you just kind of talking about getting clients. Yeah. And like so much of it is just like word of mouth. And how does like it spread? By doing more work and more work and more work and more work. And then all of a sudden you have all these people that are helping you get jobs because they're kind of like working for you because they liked your work, hopefully, right? And that's great, and it takes time to do that. But if what you're doing at the end of the day, like you're not like loving it, and you're working for clients you don't love, and I'm not like picking on the clients, right? I'm more so saying like if you just find, so like in my instance, things I don't love about working with clients, I think is probably more relatable, or client work is you spend all your creative efforts to make an amazing design and you develop something that is beautiful. So for my instance, like I create a client, new CMS using like brand new web technologies. I think it looks amazing designed. They approved the design. I hand over the CMS to them and I go, okay, cool. It's time for you guys to put your content in there. And then they take it and they start putting their content in there. Yep. And then the site doesn't become usable. I can't put it on my portfolio anymore because it just got destroyed by what they did with it. And to me, that's like, it's not pushing me forward. It's not like progressing me like as an individual or in what I'm learning. Like, sure, I learned some new stuff like developing the website, but I'm not adding it to my portfolio, And so there just comes a point where it's like, yeah, there is a monetary value to it, but it's still, there's not a value of where I want it to take me. There's this other thing, and I don't know how to explain it, but something else you want to get from the work you do, something that gives it a real value.
Yeah.
And I found that with the company I'm working for right now. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just a difference of like, you're serving clients, so you have all these bosses. And sorry if I keep on talking over you.
No, this is great. Yeah. They're tired of listening to me. So
okay.
This is fresh. This is good.
But you're serving clients, like you said, you have all these bosses. And so even though like they're hiring you and they're like, you're the man, you're the person who's going to get this done, all these different people are still, at the end of the day, like you're in the service industry. Mm-hmm. You're serving them. You're serving all these clients. It's like almost like having a janitor, or like a chef. Like you're just there to make them their thing. And at the end of the day, they're going to go. And you're not a part of their company. But if you're working on a product, so let's say like you have, some like designs that you're selling or art you're selling, some software app, whatever it is, like, and that's your thing. It's different because you're not working for the client, you're working for yourself, and you get, I would feel you get more value out of it because your product that you make that you can make better and better and better, is now serving your users. And so now you're not like, even though the users in a sense could be your boss, it's more of like, I know what I'm building and what I want this to be. And now I can go ahead and make that for them.
Yeah.
And then the other side of that would be like a team and a project and kind of coming all together to work on that. And so you can be doing the same thing, but in a different instances and receive totally different results.
You know what I find interesting and kind of ironic is that you're currently finding happiness in a job where most designers probably start out with like a couple, they kind of start off with a few projects. Like at some point before they're good enough to really get a job, they've done either the internship or they've done the small mom and pop kind of stuff. And then they get good enough to get a real job. They get the job, then they hate the job because they hate the ball and chain tied to a desk, and then they want to freelance. Usually that's the path, and then you need to freelance forever after, right? And you kind of went about it. Both of us actually did that. Like I never really got a quote real job until almost 2 years ago. And for the previous 8 years, like was good enough to have a real job and nobody was hiring. And like, fine, I'm just going to do it myself. And I did for the longest time, And then you kind of become, what's the word? Not spited. Anyway, like the point is, I find it interesting that you and I are both at this spot now. We're loving doing the one thing, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Well, what's funny about it, and I actually really struggled with taking any employee job because I felt there was the stigma of like, if you're good enough, you could do freelance. Mm-hmm. Like if you're mature enough, and not just like good enough as like design, but like there's a certain echelon of designer and developer and of a person you have to be to really run your own business. Yeah. And I'm like doing it for 2 years, and I know like there's a 2-year threshold, but there just comes a point where it's like stressing out about whether like I'm going to pay bills this month or when my clients when they're going to pay me in the next 3 to 6 months, there's a certain like stress that maybe some people really vibe with and they love and they can handle it. And I think there are different types of people and what they can handle and what they enjoy, and they love having that ultimate freedom. And I do like having the freedom of being like self-employed and totally doing my own schedule. But the client's the boss.
You know what though? You've got a really we kind of downplayed it a little bit, but like you work from moment lenses. So for anybody who's been on the internet, on YouTube lately, especially any of these big vloggers like Peter McKinnon, on and on. I could name drop a few. They're using your gear, which is crazy. And so your company,
pretty insane.
I say your company like it's yours. That no big deal.
No, the company I work for, I'm employed.
They're based out of Seattle, right?
Yeah.
And so you're working out of Montana, out of the Flathead Valley, which is roughly like an 8 or 9 hour drive away from the home office. And I think are you trying to go like once a month or once a quarter to get over?
Yeah, so it's once every 4 months. We do like an offsite where the team will get together. Yeah.
I mean, so for all practical purposes, you still freelance. You just have one big fish of a client who happens to pay you every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so like, so like you technically like don't really have a job. I mean, you do, but I mean, given that you probably
there's definitely like the job things of it, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, let's get in Skype and we have our stand-up calls and I'm hired to be this one thing. Well, if you're freelance, you could be like, oh, I'm going to hop in and I'm going to take care of this, right? So there definitely are job things of it, but yeah, we kind of downplayed it a little bit. It's been a pretty good gig.
Kind of a big deal. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And friends and family discounts, right?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Oh man, we should do a giveaway on our channel with some of their stuff. That'd be fun.
That could be fun.
Anyway, even if I have to foot the bill for it, maybe we'll do one of those.
Figure it out.
So I was going to ask you something else too. So for me, I've started to work remote with my company a lot more, and it's been awesome. And I think it's been cool to see them really be okay with just seeing results and not really caring how that happens. Like we have a set amount of things that need to be delivered and taken care of. And as long as they're done, like they really don't care how or what happens, right? And I don't know if you've experienced that, or do they expect you to like punch a time card? Like how do they do that with you?
No time cards, like none of that. Like what is it called when they're tracking your key presses?
Oh, really?
Do that? Yeah, there's like companies that do that. That were like, track your activity, how long apps have been open. We'll take screenshots like every couple of hours, like straight up like strip your privacy. Like none of that crap.
Oh, they don't.
Know?
Okay, I thought you were
no,
saying
they don't
were.
do that. No, no way, man. Like there's got to be a certain amount of trust in a company, I think, in order for anyone to be really effective. I read an article where they're saying they employed that method, and I was like, why? Who would do that? Like, anyways, no, it's good. Yeah, no clocking in. It's just kind of like show up in the morning, make sure you're in the meetings you need to be in. Keep people updated on like their schedule and what you're doing. So like tomorrow I have like an ice skating thing for my son. So I was like, hey, tomorrow I've got an ice skating thing for my son. I'll be gone for a couple hours, and like make sure the rest of the work is done. So
yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, I'm stoked for you. So I think what we're going to wrap this one up tonight. Kind of short. I could talk to you for hours, and I know we have in the past. If you guys want to listen to something like that, I'll post the podcast, and it's literally like an hour and a half. But that'll help you guys kind of catch up with some of his backstory and things like that. But we have a list of topics that we've been kind of bouncing ideas off of each other, wanting to do more of this. So love to get your feedback. If there's things you'd like to ask Devan about either freelancing or working as a job or anything that you would love to ask somebody else besides me because you're all tired of hearing me, that'd be fine, whatever. I won't be offended. But anyway, thanks for being on. I don't know if I call this the show, but thanks for joining me tonight, Devan.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any questions, feel free.
My wife just showed up.
Did she just show up? Is she hovering? Can she say hi?
Yeah, she's hovering. She doesn't want to walk by because she's in her workout gear.
Yeah.
So she's like afraid. No. Sorry I interrupted you.
Our ratings just went way the heck up.
You're like, wives? What? These guys have wives?
What? I know, right? Yeah, the one where my wife was in the feed got way more views than any of the others. Which
that's awesome.
So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to that YouTube channel we just put up. I'll comment below. You can follow me at D Mitchell Design, and you can follow Devan. Devan, where can we see your stuff at, man?
Yeah, my Twitter is probably the most used social media I use. So just twitter.com, Devan Flaherty. You could probably post how to spell my name, Devan Flaherty. We'll figure it out. And then saltagency.com. That's just like salt and pepper. So saltagency.co, I think, is what it is actually. So, yeah. Awesome, I'm not good at pushing my own stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for playing. I'm going to shut this live down, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Later.
See ya.